Hello, everybody. Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the number one kill team channel on YouTube. In fact, the only kill team channel that is going to be brave enough to bring you rules leaks straight from the playtesters' mouths themselves. Or so they are. I mean, hey, if you know who the playtesters are, you know who this might be. But obviously, we can never track it back. We can never burn the source, as they say. So, with such a serious looking thumbnail, you know that I had absolutely no idea what to put as the thumbnail, because if you're looking at 40k leaks at the moment, it's very easy to kind of take a picture of 11th edition and put it on. But this is a little bit earlier than that, a little bit further out. So we're going to take a look at what we might be able to garner and glean from a few tidbits of leaks. Now, in case you aren't aware, this is a Discord leak that was about the 40k 11th edition. And in Kill Team, it's very rare that we get rules leaks. However, this is kind of off the back of this leak here, which is in 11th edition. We don't need to look at this. This is just kind of letting you know where this came from and such and such. Well, not where it came from, but somebody in my Discord linked this, which is an 11th edition rules leak, which I thought was interesting, and it made me, you know, poke around a little bit, find some other things. Before we get into the links, of course, the leaks, sorry, I would like to first give a subscriber-only benefit, and that subscriber-only benefit is a big double hello. Not that one, that one. There you go. Hey, if you're in the UK, check out these. If you're in Canada or America, check out those. Click my affiliate link, costs you nothing extra. Gives me a little kickback. That'd be awesome of you. Thank you very much. I don't know where any of the rest of my stuff is now. There you go. Check out GG Easy or Crossfire. I've done full reviews of both of their ranges. And you get 10% off if you use my affiliate link. Also, absolute random one, which I don't normally say in these, but do you remember the game Rivenstone? It was like 2-3 years ago now, and it had a totally failed Kickstarter. Well, I also have an affiliate link for this now, just because it was a game that I really, really liked and it was excited for, and it completely went under. But some stuff happened. You can now buy the models. If you click my affiliate link, you might get money off, but maybe you don't. I don't know. There you go. But it's cool. It's run by a company called Strange Plastic now. It's a whole really weird thing. My selling point for them is it looks like World of Warcraft models. There you go. So check out Rivenstone. I think it's cool. Right, let's go back to this. New edition leaks. So where are these? Why would we believe them? So it is a well-known playtester that is giving these leaks. Now, if you know who those playtesters are, you might be able to poke around and, figure out who it is, but it doesn't matter. Most playtesters, who the playtesters are is a very interesting thing. When Kill Team 21 released, the playtesters were unknown because obviously it was not a known thing from GW as it was being born into existence. And then after about a year, they brought on a bunch of community playtesters in essence that they were just people that were big parts of the community, and that seems to have been how they were scouted out and known. And those people were then very open about, most of them were very open about saying, yes, we're playtesters. And then a bunch of leaks happened, and all of those people stopped saying they were playtesters. So I'm not going to say who any of the playtesters are. It doesn't matter, you know. And who this particular playtester is also doesn't matter, right? Who knows? Maybe they're lying to me, right? There's no way to know until things happen. However, this playtester has leaked accurately before. The things that are making this sound possible are timing. And I think it's very interesting. So in case it's generally considered that GW rules-wise seems to work about 2 years ahead. We are now about a year and a half away from a new edition, so we're halfway through the edition. So this is about the time where presumably the Kill Team devs will have done their initial play tests of like their thing, and they would have then sent it out to the rest of the Kill Team play testers. And now that person said, hey, these are the basics. There's no full rundown here. I'm just giving you some highlights because that's all they gave me, like just some really basic things. And yeah, there are very few Kill Team rules leaks. So we got the 11th edition rules leaks. If you follow 11th edition, a little bit of Age of Sigmar, etc., you can actually get quite extensive, mainly 40k. You can get some really, really extensive leaks, both for models and for rules. And that's because obviously it's such a large community with some absolutely insane fans and all that stuff. I personally don't really like leaks when it comes to the models. I think that I don't know. It's just I want to be. You spend so much money on this hobby, make it a fucking pageant. You know, make it majestic. I want to be blown away. I want to be blown off, if you will. And I think that is genuinely a good thing. Having some shitty potato can picture come out was like, I don't know, man. Like, let the marketers do the marketing job because I want to be impressed. And I'm not impressed by shitty potato can pictures from leakers in general. However, rules, rules for days. I'm happy to know rules at any time. I don't, yeah, because you can't kind of spoil them in a sense, which you can spoil the models, is my take. There you go. And yeah, we just don't have many 40Kers don't care about Kill Team. So despite us being having the same models, being in the same world, they don't care about us, so we don't get their benefit of huge leaks. Okay, right. We now go to kind of the bullet points. This is what they told me. So, faster to play was the core of the next edition. I think that makes perfect sense, obviously. I think if you look at the current edition of Kill Team, in fact, a few of these things are going to be noticing like already, I think. So, they want the game to be faster to play. We've seen that in the latest approved ops where they are trying to kind of speed the game up a little bit. This edition, the 2024 edition, is faster to play than 21. So they are. This is clearly a thing they're trying to hammer home. They're obviously not quite happy with the how long it takes to play a game of Kill Team. Streamlined. Yep. Obviously, this is clearly just a bullet point list. They're like, if it's faster to play, it's probably streamlined. That makes sense. Presumably, they've made fewer keywords is all we can assume from that. Who knows what else? They've also cleaned up rules, but we'd expect that in a new edition. Stripped back line of sight. This is just part of faster to play and streamlined. Line of sight is such uh, a tough one for Kill Team. It is ultimately a ranged game, and therefore you need a bit of crunch in how ranged works. Otherwise, you should just play like go and play Warcrow, but only use ranged units. It's a bad game, right? One or two ranged units in an otherwise melee game is fine. You've got to decide as a system where do you want your crunch? How much further can you strip back the line of sight of Kill Team? You know, further, to be clear, we're not there yet. Keep going. But this doesn't surprise me. I would fully expect to see, who knows, you know, maybe obscurity goes. I don't think obscurity is needed in the game, for example. And maybe we just go down to in or out of cover. That's something I can imagine seeing. But then also no more order tokens. And that's kind of what, yeah, that's an interesting one. And also somewhat ironic because as people have pointed out in the 11th edition, things here, they're kind of people have mentioned that due to how cover they think is going to work in 11th edition now, people are going to want order tokens there. So probably you'll be seeing people using conceal and engage tokens on their 40K models because when you're in cover and you haven't shot, then you're concealed and you can't be shot. But then, yeah, so that's quite interesting that they're going to try and take away order tokens from Kill Team. Um, I can see how that works, I suppose, but you know, this is all you've got to make a fundamental change to the game for that to work because the reason we have those tokens is to track the status of things. I'm not against tokens on the board. Um, I know that there's kind of a purist wargaming scene that doesn't like tokens, whereas I think most things these days are very hybridy, if you want to view it that way, as wargame, board game. Um, and tokens totally work for me. So I'm fine with tokens, but it can be a turn off for some people, the 40Kers perhaps, even though they still use a lot of tokens on the board. They just don't like to admit it. But how they're going to remove order tokens, I don't know. They kind of didn't say. I assume it's part of the faster to play, streamlined, and stripped back line of sight. We shall see. Presumably, it's going to be more like if you are within one of terrain, you're always concealed. If you're within two of terrain, you're concealed but can be shot. If you're over that, you're always engaged. Something like that. Who knows? Who knows? Or what engaged can still do out. Who knows? Nemesis. So this was a really interesting one. Obviously, we've just seen the Nemesis book announced for whatever it's called. I can't. The Red Terror Raptor? No, not the Raptor Scout. Spectre, the Spectre Squad. So, and then the Nemesis book coming alongside that. So there was. He said the Nemesis book is going to be very important. So what they're doing in the Nemesis book is they're going to allow you in not in solo and co-op, not in competitive play, to make your own dudes. You know, like you could use a big knob, if you will, and that could go into your commando team or your wrecker crew team. And presumably there will be a system of points and stuff that you can do, and then that could just slot into your wrecker crew team, almost like a commander, right, or an elite, something like that. And there's talk not of that. It's not you're not going to be able to make your own guy. That's not how things are going to work, obviously. But there might be kind of an elite or commander vibe. So you will take an existing team like Wrecker Crew, Commandos, and there will be a separate thing. And it might be purely Nemesis is going to be brought into solo and co-op as a core thing, as opposed to as a match play thing. We don't know. Um, but it was definitely play tested, and it's seems to be that you're going to be able to add a model to your team, which is interesting. I think that makes sense, um, because if it's like, and we have this in existing teams already, in essence. So you can have the Brood Brothers are a great example. You buy that box; it's a 10-man box, right? But we have slot list building. And we can have a Patriarch, and that costs 3 slots. Or we can have a Magus, and that's 2 slots plus another slot we can still use. So I think they're just going to be taking the slot system to the next level. And every team will presumably still be a one box team. But let's be honest, nobody is taking Brood Brothers as a one box team. That's the worst team in the game if you're only those 10 models in the box, right? And the Nemesis system is going to be more like every team has a Nemesis. Sorry, every team has a slot sat there for you to put in your version of the Magus or the Patriarch. So even if you buy what's a one box team? Um, can't think of a one box team. Canoptek Circle. There you go. Even if you buy Canoptek Circle on its own can be played, and then you will have, let's just say, 3 slots, and that can either be 3 free CP, or if you go out and buy a character model, that character that you bring in, who knows what it could be, a Triarch Praetorian. Those are just 2 random words that sound vaguely Necrony. I said there, I don't know what model that is. That might be 3 slots, and you could, or it's 2 slots, and you can swap that in, that kind of thing. And they're saying that might be for every team. So when the Nemesis book comes out, pay attention to that. And then scaling battles. So scaling battles, the leaker was really, really clear. He didn't want to say list building. In the same way that current Kill Team doesn't have list building, we have a roster and we have slots. Scaling battles was basically, if we go back to that Nemesis slot system, you can choose to play at kind of basic level, which maybe that will be the new what would they call it? I can't even remember what it's called, but your mandatory ops. So straight out of the core book, you're playing basic level Kill Team, no slots, no list building in that regard. You just have your one roster, your one box. That's what we play. Whereas now there's going to be scaling. So again, going back to that Nemesis idea, that Brood Brothers is the best way to think of it. If we go back to Brood Brothers, maybe there's you've got your 10 models, and then at the next level of scaling, when you're at approved ops level, you can take your 10 models plus your 3 slots. And then there's another level, which maybe that's the actual match play, the tournament play, who knows? Then you will get to take an additional 2 or 3 slots. But every team will have that. So again, maybe this will mean that every team becomes a 2-box team. That kind of sounds like it's in line with GW's, let's make more money kind of thing. So I can very much see that. Whether it's only You get to just buy 2 kill teams, or you buy your kill team and some character models. And honestly, I'd be okay with that. That sounds really fun. I like list building. You know, something I really enjoyed about other games is being able to have my core kill team and then have it play very differently depending on which hero unit I put in with the team. That's really fun for me. So seeing something like that coming back would be really cool. And then semi-phased. Now, this probably goes in line with the faster play, the streamlined, the strip back line of sight, and the no more order tokens. So semi-phase, I assume, works with all of those. So now he was super vague about this, or sorry, they were super vague about this. It could have been anybody of any gender. And basically, you're going to have it's still alternating activation. It's not 40k. It's not I go, you go. Okay, obviously. But in an effort to make the game faster, what they've done is you move everything, then I move everything, then we alternate shooting, and then we alternate combat. So I can see that being an interesting way of playing the game. It's obviously very different, and I don't know how people are going to take that. But certainly, one thing I can say is that for Kill Team 21 and 24, it's a very slow game. It's not a fast game. Let's be honest. It's a very slow game. And we would expect your game in a tournament to be 2 hours, right? That's how long Kill Team takes to play. It is a 2-hour game in a tournament. Now, you might be finished in an hour and a half, and you have a half hour left over, or you might push it right to the 2-hour limit, you know, or some people skive off hour 15, they're done. That's pretty much how I've seen tournaments play out. All good. 2 hours, people are pretty comfortable with that. 2 years into the fucking edition, Jesus Christ. But that's okay. And if we look back to Kill Team 2018, which is the only other game I can really say is quite cool, and I know games were an hour. So like tournament games for the core of 2018 were an hour. It was literally twice as fast as current Kill Team. So we could assume that they're kind of looking at what they've done in the past and thinking, let's go back towards that because we want to be faster. How do we become faster? Hey, we've done this before. We keep the rest of the game pretty much the same, but we speed up the movement phase because that's really all they're doing there with the semi-phased. Although, again, I don't have all the details in, what's going to be phased, what's not. And that's it. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those 7 bullet points leaked about Kill Team. What's it going to be? Is it next year? So Kill Team 2027, 3-year cycle. And that's it. What do you think? Is that going to be... Does that sound realistic, or does it sound like this is obviously an April Fool's and I didn't know what else to do? I did try and make the thumbnail as ridiculous as possible. If you made it all this way and were still believing me, I do apologize, but I felt this was pretty obvious. Come on now. Come on now. I was literally just describing Kill Team 2018, the far superior game. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.